Have you looked at the price of fresh ginger at the grocery store lately? Not only is it getting ridiculously expensive, but half the time, the knobs sitting in the produce aisle are shriveled, fibrous, and dried out from sitting in cold storage for months. What if I told you that a single piece of store-bought ginger can easily give you pounds of plump, juicy, aromatic ginger right on your patio or balcony? You do not need a farm. You do not need acres of rich ground. And you definitely do not need a tropical climate. All you need is a simple container, the right soil mix, and a few insider tricks to trigger massive underground growth. By the end of this video, you will never have to buy ginger from the store again. Growing ginger at home is honestly one of the most rewarding and low-maintenance projects you can take on. Unlike crops that demand constant pruning, staking, or daily fussing, ginger is a set-it-and-forget-it powerhouse. Once you get its basic environment dialed in, whether you are gardening on a small apartment balcony, a back patio, or a sunny porch deck, container growing actually gives you a massive advantage over planting in the ground. You get total control over the soil quality, moisture levels, and temperature, which means you can grow tender, aromatic ginger even in cooler northern zones with shorter seasons. Today, we are walking through the complete, step-by-step roadmap to take you from a single store-bought rhizome to overflowing harvest baskets of crisp, homegrown ginger. If you love the idea of turning everyday, store-bought produce into endless, high-yielding harvests right in your own backyard, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We share practical, no-nonsense gardening tutorials every single week to help you grow more food in less space with way less effort. Now, if you have ever tried planting a piece of ginger in the past, only to watch it rot or sit in the dirt doing absolutely nothing, you are not alone. Most beginners hit a brick wall because commercial grocery store ginger is frequently sprayed with growth inhibitors to keep it from sprouting on supermarket shelves. Another massive mistake is picking the wrong pot. People often grab tall, narrow containers, but ginger roots do not grow downward, they spread horizontally, just beneath the surface. When you plant them too deep in heavy, waterlogged soil, the cold, soggy dirt suffocates the rhizome before it ever develops a root system. Ginger thrives on warmth, rich drainage, and horizontal room to stretch out. Once you eliminate those common pitfalls, the entire process becomes almost foolproof. Here is the good news. Unlocking massive ginger yields in containers comes down to a simple, four-phase formula. First, we wake the rhizome up and force strong, green-eye buds indoors before it ever touches your outdoor dirt. Second, we set up a wide, shallow container with a rich, loose potting mix that gives the root system plenty of breathing room. Third, as your ginger shoots skyward, we apply the hilling up method, adding layers of rich compost around the base to force the plant to stack fresh, tender rhizomes, layer upon layer. Finally, at the end of the season, we harvest pounds of crisp, juicy ginger and save the best pieces to replant next year. Once you see how simple these steps are, you will realize just how easy it is to keep a self-sustaining ginger supply going year after year. Let's start with the foundation, picking and waking up your ginger. When you are at the grocery store, head straight for organic ginger if it is available. Organic pieces usually have not been sprayed with growth retardants. Look for plump, firm rhizomes with smooth, tight skin and visible little bumps or eyes at the tips. Avoid anything shriveled, soft, or showing dark, water-soaked spots. If you can only find conventional grocery store ginger, do not worry. Simply submerge the rhizome in a bowl of lukewarm, filtered water overnight. This helps wash away any residue from growth inhibitors and rehydrates the tissue. Next, snap or cut the ginger into 2 to 3-inch chunks, making sure every piece has at least 1 or 2 swollen growth eyes. Let those cut pieces sit on your counter for 24 to 48 hours until the raw edges callus over dry. This quick curing step is your best insurance against soil rot. to kickstart growth. Place your cured pieces in a shallow tray of damp potting soil or perlite, indoors on a seed heat mat, keeping the eyes pointing upward. Within 2 to 3 weeks, you will see plump green nubs shooting up and fine white roots anchoring below. While those sprout, prep your container. Choose a wide, shallow pot or fabric grow bag at least 12 to 14 inches across and only about 10 to 12 inches deep. Fill it with a rich, well-draining potting mix. Combine 2 parts quality potting soil, 1 part finished compost or worm castings, and 1 part perlite to guarantee great drainage. Quick question for you: what growing zone or area are you gardening in this season? Drop your city or zone down in the comments, because knowing your climate makes dialing in the perfect ginger planting window even easier. And if you're finding these steps helpful, give the video a quick thumbs up. Once your sprouted rhizomes have developed strong green shoots and healthy white roots, it is time to move them into their permanent container. Start by filling your wide pot with your prepared soil mix, leaving about 4 to 5 inches of space below the rim. Lay your sprouted ginger pieces flat across the surface, spacing them roughly 6 to 8 inches apart with those green shoots pointing straight up toward the sky. Cover the rhizomes with just 2 inches of soil. Remember, planting them too deep right away is one of the fastest ways to stall growth. Water the pot thoroughly until moisture drains freely out of the bottom drainage holes. Position your container where it receives dappled morning sunlight and gentle afternoon shade. Ginger is an understory woodland plant by nature, so harsh, scorching midday sun will scorch the leaves and dry out the soil too quickly. As those lush, bamboo-like green stalks climb to 8 or 10 inches tall, you will notice pinkish-white new rhizomes naturally pushing their way to the soil surface. This is your cue to execute the secret weapon for huge harvests, the hilling method. Every 4 to 6 weeks, add a fresh 1 to 2-inch layer of rich compost, well-rotted manure, or organic potting soil directly around the base of the stalks. Every time you cover the expanding root zone, the plant responds by growing a new tier of tender, juicy ginger rhizomes stacked vertically. Feed your container every 2 to 3 weeks with a balanced organic liquid fertilizer, like fish emulsion or liquid kelp, to fuel active leaf production and heavy underground swelling. Keep the soil consistently moist. Think of a wrung-out sponge, but never allow the container to sit in standing water. Come late fall, as temperatures drop and the lush green foliage begins to naturally yellow, dry up, and fall over, your ginger is signaling that the harvest window is open. Stop watering completely for the final 2 weeks to allow the underground rhizomes to cure and concentrate their essential oils. When you are ready, simply tip the container over onto a tarp. Brush away the loose, friable soil to reveal massive clusters of fresh, fragrant, pale yellow ginger hands. Rinse off the remaining soil with a garden hose, and you have got a restaurant-quality harvest ready for the kitchen. Let's do a quick recap of the essential rules to ensure your container harvest is a massive success. Always start with plump rhizomes, cure the cut edges, use a wide and well-draining container, and keep the soil warm and damp. Remember to hill up with fresh compost as the stems shoot upward, and give your plants bright, indirect light rather than scorching direct sun. If you notice leaves turning yellow in the middle of summer, double-check your drainage. Soggy soil is usually the culprit. If the leaf tips look brown and crispy, simply slide the container into a bit more afternoon shade and give it a humidity boost with a light morning misting. With this simple routine, you eliminate the guesswork and set yourself up for a bountiful harvest every single year. Grab a piece of organic ginger on your next grocery run, follow these steps, and get ready to harvest your own endless, homegrown supply this season. If this guide gave you the confidence to start growing, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more practical, high-yield gardening tutorials, and tell me in the comments, are you going to use pots or fabric grow bags for your ginger this year? Thanks for watching, and happy gardening!